Listen, we got to discuss breaking news in the sport of boxing that I want to get into. Gervonta Tank Davis and Teofimo Lopez. The saga continues. Obviously, Gervonta, his name is just, it's like he's the face of boxing, to be honest with you. This guy right here is like the ultimate draw. It seems like all of these fighters are, just making a plate off of mentioning his name. And it's just getting, it's getting sickening. But this time around, Gervonta Tank Davis, he fired back at Teofimo Lopez, and he's saying he ready to do the unthinkable. He's ready to lay the smack down on Teofimo Lopez. When he sees him, it's pretty, it's pretty crazy. To say the least. These two have to get in the ring. I believe that this fight, people want to see it. Obviously, Tank is at 135, T.O. 140, but Tank has already shown, even with the Ryan fight, he'll do a catch weight. He'll look like he will bend, and compromise a little bit. And I think Teofimo and them, they should do the same. They all want to do the same. They know the payday that awaits them, messing around with Gervonta Tank Davis. But it is what it is, y'all. Will Teofimo Lopez be the next victim of the WBA lightweight champion? It's crazy, to say the least. A few weeks ago, Lopez, Teo called out both Gervonta Tank Davis and Terrence Bud Crawford while using some petty, remarks. It was pretty crazy, to say the least. Coming from Teofimo Lopez, he even had to clean up and speak out about some of those remarks because it sent a lot of shock waves, because a lot of people was rocking with Teo and still are. I think Teo, he's young, making crazy mistakes, and it's wild. Hopefully he get training that he needs, and get himself right. But he said what he's gonna do to him, when he sees him. He said this in the tone Tank said it in. It wasn't nothing light. It didn't seem like it was some kind of joke. It looked like Teo is really upset, the champion. And obviously, there's been a lot of chirping, so it's only right. Everybody, caught it during that press conference, from Teofimo Lopez, to Keyshawn, to Shakur. I mean, obviously Roach. I mean, everybody. It's crazy, to say the least, what's going on. But y'all want to know, do y'all think this fight could happen? Will it happen? Is it just talking? That's another thing. People don't want to. At the end of the day, people would love to see a Gervonta versus Teofimo Lopez. These are the fights that people want to see. And people sleep on Teo. Obviously, listen, Teofimo Lopez got his swagger back, man, right before people's very eyes. People really need to pay homage, man. This guy right here is a true champion. Teo, 21-1. We all know that one loss, that came. Obviously, he wasn't too happy about that, to Cambosis. It was a tough night for him. I see, Teo losing, anytime soon? I think absolutely not, man. Teofimo Lopez, he just looked like he got a swagger, man. I don't know what happened, who he touched bases with, but he's done a complete 180. That fight that he had, pardon me, against the name will come back to me in a second, but that was just spectacular. The Josh Taylor fight, that was just spectacular. And then he fought Jermaine Ortiz. I mean, he fought some people, y'all. So we can't act like he didn't, get in there and do some things. That fight against, Taylor, where Taylor basically out of nowhere, Teofimo Lopez just flipped the switch, and then he had, this guy just looking like he didn't know what to do. And that was something that I think people really need to take heed about. Obviously, any fight, Tank is the A side, the favorite. We all know this. What's going on with Gervonta Tank Davis. His opponents will admit it. They know. So it is what it is at the end of the day, y'all. You know, Teofimo Lopez, Gervonta Tank Davis. You know, the fight gotta happen. You know, nobody want to hear all this talking for the next year or so. And at the end of the day, what is Tank gonna be able to fight all these people? He's already talking retirement. So what makes you think he's gonna be able to stick around and compete against all of these fighters that's got their name, pardon me, his name in their mouth? You know, so it's just crazy. You know, to say the least. He can't fight all these people. And I don't believe it's gonna happen. I do believe a fight with Shakur, something like that could take place. You know, I think a lot of these guys want to get that payday, but they do understand what come with that. You know, do you really want to end up on the 9 o'clock news because you got knocked out by Gervonta Tank Davis? These guys gonna get hit with shots they just didn't see. You know, a lot of people get Tank caught up with being a knockout artist, and this guy's skill level is just superb. They know this, you know, and a lot of these people they spar with Tank. So they may think that they getting whatever, up on him. You know, you gotta understand. Rolly Romero, shout out to Rolly. We all know his flight sports. We rock with Rolly Romero. This guy, he thought he was gonna take out, Gervonta Tank Davis, but sadly he was mistaken. You know, this guy ended up on the canvas. Just point blank. Period. It was just they had to really get this guy out. Seriously, this guy became a meme, and it seemed like Rolik he's never really getting the swagger back. Nobody really looked at him as this top notch boxer anyway, but he just became a serious joke. After this beatdown. It was just wild to see him just knocked out like that. Frank Martin, this guy Frank was looked at as one of those guys, one of them ones. He goes in there and he just becomes an afterthought, just complete walk down. I mean, we just got to call it how we see it. It's wild. Listen, man, we're gonna have a lot of boxing content, news updates, and more for the people. Make sure you hit the like button. Most definitely hit the subscribe button. There's a lot of stuff going on with Gervonta Tank Davis, man. It's the truth and a half. We just got to pay homage. We know what he brings to the table. This man is undefeated, 30-0, no losses, no draws. It's just like I said, his knockout, record is just elite. He's got a lot of power, and people really need to watch their face. Going up against, a guy like Gervonta. We know what's going on with him, man. Make sure you hit the like button if you're rocking with boxing. You want more news, updates, and more. It's Flight Sports TV. Let's get in the comment section. Let's get interactive. You already know what it is.